Welcome back to Zuko Builds. Today, we're taking a bunch of scrap plywood, making a cool little chevron pattern. Gonna keep it small before I commit to anything bigger, just because I wanted to pretty much understand how you make this pattern. So I'm keeping it really small. I don't know, might cut it up and resaw it into some coasters or something. But gonna be a fairly quick video today. Let's get right into it. So I went ahead and cut out all the strips I'll be using to make this pattern. The dimension for that is pretty arbitrary. It depends on how thick you want this to be. So if you want it to be 1/2 inch, just cut them into 1/2 inch strips. And the next step is to glue them up. And be sure to glue up the faces so that obviously the pattern on the edges will be showing. So that's what you'll see me doing here. And if you guys don't have a glue brush like I don't, I just take a piece of scrap wood and use that to spread the glue. It's a lot faster than using your fingers and, well, you're not using your fingers. Before clamping this thing nice and tight, you're gonna cut a 45-degree miter across all of these once they're glued up. So to be as efficient as we can, I like to stagger my pieces so that they're not all flush with each other. I pretty much set them so they set their own 45-degree angle. You'll see what I mean in a second. I went ahead and added a couple of more clamps and let this cure overnight. Now we can unclamp everything. I'm gonna leave the bottom bar clamps on while I clean up the glue a little bit. To do this, I'm just taking an old beat up chisel and lightly scraping the top of this. You don't want to press too hard because you might take away some material. Just glide over the top, scraping off the glue. And I'm just going for the bigger chunks of glue. All the little leftover pieces between the seams, I'll get with the sander. So, like I said, be sure not to really dig into your material, just scrape off those big chunks. Before making any cuts, let's go ahead and sand all of this. I'm using 150 grit just so I can really get that glue off. And I think now is a good time to say, I just hit 100 subscribers on YouTube, so thank you everybody. This is a little milestone for me. Thinking about doing a 500 follower giveaway, so help me get there. Keep showing some love. I appreciate you guys. So here's a better view of what I was talking about by staggering your pieces. Next, we'll go ahead and take I'm using a speed square, but you can use whatever 45-degree straight edge you have. And I'm just gonna sneak up on the cut. I just wanna cut these corners off so I don't waste so much material. So that's what you see me doing here. Now let's go over to the table saw, and we'll be taking that 45-degree miter we cut and using that against our fence to cut some strips. Once again, the width of this is pretty arbitrary. It depends on how wide or narrow you want these patterns to come out. I'm using 1 inch, but if you go, we'll say 4 inches, then that W is gonna be a lot wider. So use whatever you wanna use. This felt pretty safe doing this just by pushing it against the fence than using a push block, but you'll see that both of my push blocks were pretty old and beat up and I lost that little notch. So no need to worry, I'll just go ahead and take a scrap piece of plywood and slap a little notch on the bottom of that to use for the meantime. So now you should have a bunch of these little fun strips cut out. Let's go ahead and start another glue up. So for the layout of this glue up, you want to go long end to long end and short end to short end. It should look like you have a bunch of arrows at the end of it. Once you have the right orientation, go ahead and flip them over on their side and start your glue up. Before clamping this down nice and snug, just make sure all of your grains lining up correctly. You want them to form sort of arrows or W's going across the entire pattern. Once everything looks good, go ahead and snug everything up. You really want to make sure that this is what your pattern looks like before really clamping everything down. Nothing should be misaligned. Then we'll go ahead and take our straight edge and circular saw again, just to cut off all of these points. That way we can use the straight side against our fence on the table saw to cut off the other side. Or you can just cut them both off with your circular saw. If you're gonna rip this down to specific widths, now would be the time to do so. Just take that straight side we cut off with the circular saw, use that against the fence, and cut it to whatever dimensions you want. After that, you're pretty much done. I'm gonna go ahead and sand this up, chisel off some more of the glue, and put some boiled linseed oil on, and let's see what it looks like. I love the way boiled linseed oil smells. There you go, guys. I think it was a success, and I kept it small just so I can understand how you cut out the patterns, and I kind of get it now. So maybe in the future, I'll make a small coffee table or even cool drawer bottoms out of this pattern. And I plan on playing with different patterns in the future, so let me know down below what you guys want to see. And yeah, did you follow along? Did it come out how it should come out? I'll get close-ups. I'll post some close-ups at the end of this video. But anyway, if you liked the video, thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already. Zuko Builds on Instagram. I'll see you guys next week.